This is Jpar, and you are listening to The New Review. Today on the show, we got Myles and we got Da Boo. Say hello to the crowd.
Hey everybody! Woo!
Hey guys.
Yeah, and we are going to review Solo, a Star Wars story. Oh, what do you know? How quaint. And, yes, Da Boo and Myles are going to help me review that today. And it's the latest Disney Lucasfilm movie to hit the theaters, and one to hit the theaters since Last Jedi. How is it going to affect us, and how is it going to affect the box office? We are here to discuss that today, folks. So hold on to your seats, hit the hyperdrive, because we're going into Solo, the review. So, this movie doesn't star Harrison Ford. I know, surprising, right? No, it's Han Solo's played by someone else this time. And who is that person, Myles?
It's Alden Ehrenreich, of course.
Good name pronunciation.
Thank you.
Of course. And we got, of course, the gang is back with Han. You can't have Chewbacca. I mean, you can't have Han without Chewbacca, so he's here. And where would Han Solo be without Woody Harrelson? Oh, wait, he's not usually with Woody Harrelson. What's going on? Well, he's in this movie, too. And it looks like the Khaleesi's here. That's great. And Childish Gambino has showed up to play Lando Calrissian. And others. There's others.
Vision.
Paul Bettany's in here. Vision's here to play a guy. We're not going to get into that because that's a part of spoilers.
Lucky.
Yeah, other people. So, Jon Favreau, yeah, he's good. This movie was rumored to be kind of falling apart, and look at that. The director is Ron Howard. He's officially the director now. He came in and saved this. Maybe might have been a piece of crap. We don't know. We'll get into that when we get into our review. But Ron Howard has become the director of this Solo project. What do you think about that there, Myles?
Well, the original directors, was it the Kasdan brothers?
I'm not sure. They did the writing on this.
I know they did the writing, and they made it 80% through the film, like filming it. And when Disney sat down and watched it, they're like, what the fuck? What happened? This is a comedy. We want a heist movie. And then booted them out and reshoots, and it's all public now. I think that's probably the worst part about all this. If this movie happened around the time of the prequels, no one would know all this shit. And I feel like that's a big reason why nobody went to go see the movie. There was so much behind the scenes poo-poo going on.
Well, is it safe to say that Last Jedi hurt him there, Da Boo?
It certainly wasn't favorable to the series as a whole, right? I think because we were a lot of us disappointed coming right out of theaters with Last Jedi. We knew going into Solo we needed something to recapture that magic that we were hoping for, right? It's too bad Last Jedi didn't do it, though, because that's the one that they should have done it with. Solo, I feel like, kind of brought it back to me a little bit. But we'll get into that a bit later.
All right, so, yeah, it was mired in controversy, this movie. And, I mean, how can you recast Harrison Ford, I mean, when you really think about it? And then when everyone heard that they had to bring Ron Howard in, everyone was like, uh-oh, this movie's in trouble. It's got to go through reshoots. And usually when movies go through reshoots, not usually a good thing. And just, with the tepid, just the way that we felt after coming out of Last Jedi, I think we were all feeling a little tepid going into this new Solo movie and seeing Harrison being replaced with this new actor. But so let's, what's your first impressions there, Myles?
Well, going into the movie, I set the bar as low as possible, just because I got my nose to the grindstone when it comes to all this stuff going on in the background with the directors leaving forcefully and people being just shifted around. They added Paul Bettany really late in the production, and if you see him on screen, it's very, very late. Like, that happened at the end, way at the end. He wasn't even a character at first. When the movie came out, they're like, oh, we need Paul Bettany. There's something missing here, and then they added him, and the movie's the movie.
Needed a bad guy is what they needed.
Exactly, and not some sort of Ocean's 11 scenario where you have kind of a good guy, bad guy that they're going to steal from, but he's not really in the movie. But I don't know. I thought Paul Bettany did a good job. But anyways, going into the movie, I had very low expectations. Last Jedi didn't help. I was on the fence about it. Still, I don't want to see it again because I don't think I'm going to get anything more out of it. And yeah, the Star Wars fatigue, maybe. I didn't like Rogue One as much as other people, and I didn't like Last Jedi.
Let's be honest. We go from like having the original trilogy, and there's like years and years in between that and the prequels, and then we wait years and years before we get Force Awakens. And now it's like we're waiting every year we get a Star Wars movie, and now we don't even have to wait a year. It's been like only half a year, and now we're getting Solo.
It's definitely Star Wars fatigue. You guys worded it properly there. I didn't expect so many of these Star Wars movies to be coming out so quickly, personally. Right after we had just seen A Last Jedi, I was expecting, honestly, the next Star Wars movie, whether if it was one of the side stories like this one or part of the main series, doesn't matter. I really need a good year to digest what I was just given before you give me another one. We've already seen other products and other movie types have the same kind of issue before, too. I don't want to sidetrack too much, but I know as a gamer, I see a lot of these games developed year after year. We already know what happens when something is rushed within a year's time for production. It shows itself, right? Movies are no different. You got to really give it the love and attention that it needs, and I think maybe that's probably what a lot of my concerns were going into Solo. It was such a quick revisit to the cinema after I'm barely getting off of the leftovers of what The Last Jedi did to me, right?
Yeah.
So Solo really...
Still trying to heal from that pain, you know. The
Show
Star
us
Wars
on the
hurt
doll
me.
where it hurt you.
Where on the doll?
Show us on this Luke
Not
Skywalker
here.
action figure where...
Not here, but right here. So none of you guys can see me.
Or hurt you right in the Metachlorians.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, too soon.
Nah, that's never going to be too soon for that joke.
No, we got to knock it out until it no longer exists.
Perfect.
There you go.
Anyways,
All right,
Jpar,
so-
how do you feel going into
Yeah,
the
so
movie?
that I think I've kind of already expressed my first impressions. As I said, Last Jedi left a kind of bad taste in my mouth, and I think a lot of people's mouths. And maybe you're one of those people who like Last Jedi, and that's the case. Then, hooray! But I don't know. Just for me, growing up with these movies, I started with the trilogy, and there was a time when I didn't know anything else but the trilogy. I mean, maybe the Ewoks cartoon and those Ewoks movies, but we're just going to forget those. That's what I mean. Like, I just knew the trilogy, that's it. And I dreamed of, like, much grander things for Star Wars, even before we saw the prequels. And I know there's a lot of generations who grew up with the prequels, and they hold them dear because they grew up with them. But to me, it's like, the closer you get it to those original 3 movies, then the more beloved it is going to be for me. So to me, that's the Star Wars world. So I was happy to see that come back, but like I said, not so enthused, especially after Last Jedi. And, you know, how can you recast Harrison Ford? I mean, that's a hard thing to do, to replace him. So, you know, I was going in. I still had to see, no matter what, being the Star Wars fan that I am. So let's, because this movie is largely based on gambling and chance, I have the Die of Destiny here, and whoever rolls the highest will be able to do their... Actually, they'll be able to either decide if they want to do the review first or give it to someone else.
It's come down to that, eh?
Okay.
Well, you know,
Are you going to go first?
we're going
or
to
am I
make it
gonna go
interesting. It is a show, after all.
first? Okay. 2!
Well,
Oh,
That's a mighty 2.
Yeah.
you better hide like something in your sleeve there if you want to... We'll get into that.
Oh, look at that!
Oh,
With
whoa!
a 1!
Whoa!
It's
I think we should have bet to see who would get the
Is
lowest.
there a 0 on there?
Is it possible to get...
I don't think there is. But...
Oh,
I
let's
think,
see.
I think Jpar wins by default here.
1,
2, 3.
Wow!
And we're not lying here, guys. This is truly a 1, 2, 3 moment. Wow.
2, 1, 3.
This is where we needed a video camera.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was
All right.
pretty fun.
I can't believe that happened, but it's safe to say that none of us would have won the Millennium Falcon.
No.
Okay, so I'll go first since I rolled the highest. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna get into my review. What's the good? Not too much of what's the good, too much of the bad. I'm gonna save that for best and worst, folks, and that's when we get into spoiler town. But just saying a little bit about it. I liked it a heck of a lot better than The Last Jedi. And I think that's a huge relief right off the hop. And I also like it better than Rogue One, I think. So it was good. I think Myles also said it. You know, you don't hope for much, and you get a lot. So that's kind of what it is. But it's just like, honestly, the character right off the hop. I mean, right off the hop, it's not going to be Harrison Ford. So you already got that in your mind. But I gotta say, this kid did a good job. What's his name again?
Alden
Ehrenreich?
We'll call him Alden.
Let's just call him Alden. He did a great job. I gotta say that. Especially for someone, like, how can you replace Harrison? I wasn't looking for anyone to replace Harrison, because you can't. You just can't. And even though you know that going through this movie, you catch little things that he does, and you're just like, he's actually pretty good. He's got the little mannerisms of Han Solo, and pretty good. I was impressed. So that didn't bother me at all. In fact, I enjoyed his portrayal of Han Solo, to be quite honest. And then I just kind of felt home. It all felt familiar to me. I'm back in that Star Wars universe. Things looked a little bit junky compared to, it wasn't the shiny prequels, and it wasn't what we have now. It was what I was used to seeing, and
with one exception being shiny, the Falcon itself, that was pristine shiny. And that's, I'll just say that.
Except that another point. Well, let's go on.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, I enjoyed this little trip back into a galaxy far, far away, and I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more Last Jedi. And I say I enjoyed it slightly more than Rogue One. Now, did I enjoy it on the same levels of the original three? I'm going to say probably not, but maybe over repeated viewings it could become a favorite over time. But right now, it was just, it felt good. I came out of the theater and I felt hopeful. We'll say that. I felt hope. You know what that is?
It's a new hope. Yeah.
There might be a new hope because Solo might be the new hope for the Star Wars franchise. Miles, take it away.
Now, are we giving it a rating?
Oh, sorry, my rating. I am going to give it a 3.5, but it's an enthusiastic 3.5. It's an enjoyable movie, and if you enjoy the original trilogy, I think you're going to enjoy this. It doesn't really... Rogue One has too much, like, looking at the camera, nodding and winking at the camera thing. I find this doesn't do it as much. There is a little cameo, an awesome cameo in this movie, which we'll get into spoiler town, but it doesn't do it. It's like, oh, was that so-and-so? It's like, no. It's just... It lets you enjoy the characters. You already know Chewie's here. You already got Han Solo. You know Lando's going to be here. So we got that already, and, so... I don't think they need to do that, to be quite honest, and I'm glad that they don't.
Okay, how do you follow that up?
I don't know, but you're going to do it.
So yeah, like I said earlier, going into the movie I had very low expectations, and as I'm watching the movie, it was the weirdest thing, because the movie starts off in an action sequence, and it just keeps going, and I'm sitting there in the theater, I'm like, okay, so far we're at 40 minutes, and I love this movie. That's going to be my review. Something's got to happen. There's got to be a reason why no one's going to see this movie and it's getting bad reviews. But then the movie kept going, and my smile is growing, and there was all these little, like you said, nods to old Star Wars, and then the music picked up, and it's just like...
Was it just me, or was the music back?
It was back, baby.
Yeah.
When they're in the Falcon, and they're flying around in space, I won't tell you specifically where, but the music kicked in, and right away, it brought me back to the original movies. And I'm like, oh, I love this. And even if you didn't see it, the score, like everything, just the beats, the mysticism, the magic, the heart. This movie had it all.
It definitely had the heart.
I am back. Like, I was really holding on to Last Jedi for what was good in that movie, but there's just too much bad that I couldn't give it the marks that everybody else wanted to give it to keep the franchise going. But for me, this movie, I'm going to give it a 4.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to give it a solid 4. Like you said, Jpar, like you and I, we looked at each other at the end of the movie. It's like, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm really happy right now. And I was too. It was just like, it was the greatest feeling. It hit all the beats it needed to hit. And I was so happy. I didn't want this movie to be made, and going in, I didn't know what to expect, and then I'm happy it happened.
No one asked for it, but it's the movie we deserved.
We needed this. The franchise needed this, even though the money isn't there for some reason. I don't get it. Maybe after this review, people will start going. But, yeah, anyways, take it away, Boo. I've kissed this movie's fingers enough for Ring or whatever the fuck franchise.
Well, I'm just going to keep it pretty plain, because I I don't know what I was thinking or what I was feeling going into this movie. I feel like, I think that's why you guys worded it perfectly. It was just fatigue after having seen so much of this type of movie that, and this is coming from a guy that I will always constantly rave about how I love science fiction. It's just my genre that I always seem to find a reasoning to go out of my way to watch, whether if it's a good movie or not, I guess. And Star Wars clearly had a certain thing, a certain bar to meet, and that's where we'll get into that a little bit later. With my impressions, I went into it, I think, with one thing in mind. I wanted to make sure that it had the energy I was expecting. It can still be a Star Wars movie, but given that this was Han Solo's kind of like origin story, we could have gotten further back, I'm sure, but it wouldn't have been as interesting. So they step you right into a moment where you get introduced to a character that you're already familiar with if you've seen the originals. So you have a certain bar already, set for the character in your own way. And going into this movie, I was paying closer attention to him than anyone else around him. I love that there was a lot around him that I could, like you said, paid a nod to original moments or tropes from the original series. Great. That made me feel like I was once again in a Star Wars scenario. So that energy was all the way through. That's the part I'm never disappointed with. The problem I had with it, though, is that they were trying a little too hard in some areas to do their own thing. Almost like I wasn't aware that there was a rewrite. Actually, I probably should pay closer attention to that. Ron has always been a director that I've enjoyed the way he's pieced together a story, and at the end of the day, the movie had at a reasonable pace. He always had a different way of getting to it, but his pace was perfect. Like there was not enough lulls to make me feel like there was dull moments. This movie had no dull moments, that I'll say. But the energy wasn't quite the way I expected it to be. So, long story short, I can only go as high as 3.
I think it's quite an interesting rating scale we got going.
I know, that's why you guys went.
What you just said, I'm surprised you're giving it a 3.
I know,
you said there's no lulls or no dull moments, but now you're giving it a 3.
Well,
maybe when we get into spoiler town, you can.
Yeah, it's not to say that there aren't any specifics, but there are obviously that I want to get into later. I just think if I was keeping it broad and generalized, at the end of the day, it was almost like it was exactly the Han Solo movie I was maybe thinking of, but I was hoping for more. It's hard to really say. This is coming from. This is really just someone who's really not that maybe in tune with the Star Wars movies enough. I don't know. But Han Solo was never quite one of my favorite characters, I think, is maybe another reason why. Maybe I just don't have as much heart going into this movie as some others do, right? He's not the hero. He's nowhere near a hero.
Sure he is.
They tried. I would call him more of an anti-hero. He is. He does things that make him resemble a hero.
Emilia Clarke's character says something in the movie. And she's...
Yeah, I know. Those are specifics.
She says something.
Well, we're not the spoilers yet.
You're right. She says something, and
we will get into that.
Spoiler alert, she says something, folks.
Yeah, sorry.
So
you heard it here first.
Actually, there is a spoiler alert, someone who does get a line, which I don't think has ever had a real line in a Star Wars movie, but we'll get into that in the spoiler town. Yeah. Continue.
I think I just want to end it with this. If I had to position it with the other movies as of late, it's definitely better than The Last Jedi. But it matches, I think, the feeling I got out of the cinema when leaving Rogue One. Rogue One had a different pace completely. It had its lulls, and I think we spoke about that in the last review. Whereas this one here, even though it may not have its lulls, it has its moments where it took me out of the moment a bit. And it's not to say that it wasn't for the reasons they intended to, but it wasn't what I enjoyed, I think. Anyway, we'll get into the specifics later.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear those.
Alright, so we are going to flip into spoiler town now, folks. We're going to get into our best and worst of Solo. And this is where we get to dig into the movie. We'll let you know what we like and what we really don't like about Solo. So, yeah, I guess I'll lead off since I rolled the eyes. I did my review first.
The Mighty 3, yeah.
Yeah,
we remember.
The Mighty 3, it was big. You heard of the Mighty Thor? Well, this is the Mighty 3.
How many times have you said that out loud?
That's the first time.
Tonight.
Right now, and I wish I could take it back. Let's get into the best and the worst, folks. Alright, so this is Spoiler Town. If you haven't seen Solo yet, I suggest you go see that movie and help this movie, because, after Last Jedi, Star Wars movies do still need our help, and they're still good, fun movies to go see. I mean, unless you listen to Da Boo's review, then maybe you won't want to go see it. God. But listen to what me and Myles got to say. He's hairy like a Wookiee, so take his opinion to heart. Alright. So, anyways, the best and the worst. The best, I gotta say, is there's two things. One, immediately you feel like you're back in that world. And that is fucking cool. I mean, and the music, like you said, the music really helped. I felt like the music was back. Mm-hmm. And when they hit that music, when they were in that space scene, what were they going through? There was the gravity hole, and then they were, well, it's the Kessel Run. They had to make the Kessel Run.
It was when they were doing the Kessel Run. They had to outrun the Star Destroyer and the TIE Fighters. All of a sudden, the music picked up, and I was back, baby. Star Wars. But yeah, that's when the movie like really kicked into overdrive with the music. It just lifted the movie at the right spot, right time, and all the little things he said. Sorry, I'm taking away from.
Yeah. Well, it felt like home, right? It felt like we were back home in that galaxy far, far away. And my second favorite thing is Alan Ehrenreich, his performance as Han Solo was actually really good. I was expecting not to like this kid. Like, fuck this guy. He's not Harrison Ford. Fuck him. But no, he's good. I like him. He's great. He does just little things that make him like Harrison Ford or like Han Solo. Like, you don't really notice it at first, but as it goes along. And sometimes when they put the shading on him, he actually kind of looks like him once in a while, but I don't know if they just did CG with that, or if when you put a dark light on him, he actually does look like Harrison Ford. I don't know. Could be like that whole Seinfeld situation with that one woman he was dating. But anyways, so yeah, like, I mean, I just felt like I was home. The main guy didn't bother me, which I thought was going to really bother me, and he didn't. And the humor was like back to that Star Wars humor. It was good humor. It wasn't like, like hilarious, but it's funny. It's like, it's like just subtle humor. It doesn't have to be like that corny millennial humor that was in Last Jedi. Like, what was going on there?
Yeah, they brought us back to situational humor.
Yeah.
What's the scene happening now, and how are they dealing with it? Fuck, that's funny, the way they did it, or just narrowly got out of it. So that's Star Wars humor, in my opinion. And
then, I mean, you bring Chewbacca back, and you bring a great cast with Woody Harrelson, Emilia Clarke, Donald Glover. I mean, how can you go wrong? And it just felt comfortable. It felt fun. I wanted to see what was going to happen next. So, yeah, that's my favorite. I felt like I was home again, back in that galaxy. Far, far away, as we will.
But with the light, there's always the dark. So
yes,
what did you like?
I gave it 3.5. So, it's a long movie, I gotta say. I don't know why it's so long. I feel like it could be a little bit shorter. Maybe this is where like Ron Howard came in and he probably made it like a watchable movie, made it a good movie, made it all connect. But I could definitely see where it could be disjointed, because even you were saying to me, Miles, when we were coming out of the theater, it's like, there's only so much time left in this movie. Like, where's it going? What's happening? How are they gonna get there? What are they gonna do with this? So it was like, okay, it felt like they had to wrap up things really quickly near the end. Or, it wasn't like a complete ending. There's something kind of disjointed about the end. And I don't know, it's because they totally plan on doing Solo 2, which it does kind of look like they are setting up. And you know what? I don't mind, because spoiler alert, someone does make a huge appearance in this movie. And it is Darth Maul. He is alive with robot legs. And, also surprise, Kira, who is Han's love interest, played by Emilia Clarke, kind of works for him by the looks of it. Mm-hmm. So, wow, that's going to be interesting to see where that goes. And I guess with Darth Maul, maybe comes like another Jedi that could also appear in this story, give Han a reason as to why he doesn't like Jedis, maybe in the original the trilogy, that storyline. But anyways, yeah. So as I said, my favorite felt like we were back there. We're back in that familiar galaxy. Like the acting, and my least favorite was too long. Definitely felt like it was too long. It feels a little disjointed at the end. Doesn't feel like a complete ending. It's kind of weird. You could kind of tell that they kind of pieced it together quickly near the end. So that's why it gets a lower rating.
Okay, well, I gave it a 4. So there's a lot that I liked. I could echo a few beats off you there. We're back. Like, I felt so out of the movie watching Last Jedi that at points I was just waiting for it to end.
Yeah.
Like, okay, where's this going? Oh, that went nowhere. and everything just kept not mattering in that movie. And I felt like in this movie, everything mattered. Every decision, everything affected where either the story was going at that point or where it's going to go in the future. And when the movie ended, I was excited. I want to know where this goes, and I can't believe I felt like that after. Like, I want to see another Han Solo movie.
Me too.
I want to see where this goes. I want to see where him and Chewie go next. We know, spoiler alert, they're going to Tatooine to go see Jabba. So if they can somehow tie in the whole Darth Maul and the Kira story, I'm in. Because now we're bringing back the Jedi and the Sith.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
This is cool.
This is very cool. And all the little nods, like if you're a Star Wars geek, they gave you enough. Like they threw out a couple names like Bosk. They had the dice. But I feel like they threw in the dice because of The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
because it was important in Last Jedi. It's like, okay, we have to put in the dice.
But it was
make
like
it
instant.
important.
It was like instant. It's like,
It
there
was.
you fuckers. See, he did have them the whole time.
Yes, but they made it important. He gave it to Kira. I'm coming back for these. And then she gave them back. It was like, oh, we just came full circle. Awesome.
Which was a form of trust between them.
Yes.
Or is that what you thought it meant?
That's what I thought it meant.
I thought it meant that too.
No, I think for me it was more a matter of representing that time in his life. Like for me, the dice when it was introduced
That was
in
his
The Last
only
Jedi,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, like it was an excuse to draw back his past life into the now. Because obviously in The Last Jedi, Han is nowhere near in the same situation as he is in this movie. Obviously,
What's interesting though, and because this movie's trying to fix what The Last Jedi did, I noticed with a few things. The dice being one of them. Luke gives the dice to Leia, which means it's important to her as well. So did he do the same game with Leia? Are we gonna? I don't know.
Han, you cheeky.
Well, I don't remember him using the dice in that manner in any of the movies prior to this
It's
one.
like, hey, baby, we're in love now. Here's my
Here's my dice. Only give it to my main
I'm a scoundrel.
squeeze.
Remember that.
Yeah. Anyways, it hit all the beats. We got to see how Chewie and
Want to see
Han
my
Solo.
Wookiee?
Yeah. And he speaks Wookiee, which was actually kind of cool. I like that.
That was cool.
It was cool. We knew he understood it.
Yeah.
So that must mean that he could
could
speak a
speak
little.
it,
yes.
Yeah, it was broken. Like when they put the subtitles, it was broken Wookiee English or whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah, he didn't know
That
if he
was
said
cool.
tribe or family in the one sentence he said.
yeah. God, he got his gun. That was pretty cool.
That was cool too.
And the mentor, like I didn't know where that was going at first, and then when he gave him the gun, I was in. I'm like, okay, he wants to be like this guy.
That was cool too, because that was very much like the traditional. That was a nod to the Star Wars as well, where the mentor dies in the first movie.
Yeah.
Also, another little thing that was a nod to the Star Wars movies. In every other movie, they say, "I got a bad feeling about this."
Yeah,
In
that's
this
it.
one, he says the opposite. I got a good feeling about this.
Well, there was so much. They did the Kessel Run. They had the poker game where he wins the
Off
Millennium
Lando.
Falcon. Yeah,
Yeah.
like everything came back, and I liked the way they did it. It was so good. But then the bad.
What's the bad? Miles?
There's always the bad, right? For me, it had to be. At first, it was the dice, but I liked the way they used the dice in the movie. It was like that was a little too cheese at first, almost like dice.
too blatant.
Two dice,
Here you
like they
go.
just had the dice on the screen.
Yeah.
That's all you saw for a little bit, and then he grabs them. It's like, oh, okay, he's got to fix what happened in Last Jedi, and he just did it. Okay, cool, I'm okay now. But then he asks the soldier when he's enlisting into the infantry, asks him, "What's your name?"
right.
Han. Okay, what's your family name? I don't have family. Oh, so you're solo? Beep, 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 boop, boop, boop. And then that's it.
That becomes his name.
Oh.
That's how he got his name.
That was kind of like, I didn't know how I felt about that, and it carried through the whole movie. And then afterwards, I'm thinking, oh, fuck. He names his kid Ben Solo, a.k.a. Fucking, what the hell's his goddamn name?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. He names him Ben Solo, and the Solo part is kind of a bullshit thing.
It's kind of like a Jon Snow.
Yeah, maybe he's wearing it with pride. Like, I don't know, but that was a little...
Maybe that's
was
what it is
so
in the Star
cheese.
Wars universe. If you don't have a last name, you're a Solo.
Well, no, he...
There would be a ton of solos out there.
Yeah.
There would be, wouldn't there?
But that's not the case, and I know that because the guy, he's just thinking in his head, what could I put here? It's got to be 4 letters. Solo. Oh, I don't know. That was kind of a big letdown for me. I didn't like that. That was the only time I got taken out of the movie, and it was just... I think I yelled at the movie at one point. I'm like, shut up!
I did hear you grow.
And then the rest of the movie went on. I'm like, okay, the rest of the movie better not be this super cheese. But you know what? If that's my only problem.
Just that scene, yeah?
That was it.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And, like, sorry, you
Go
nailed
ahead.
it. The ending, they needed an ending, and they gave us, like, 3 endings in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, okay, we gotta wrap this up,
Like,
and this
what
up.
do we do?
Wrapped up. Okay. So, yeah, that was a little fishy, but it needed to be done. You could definitely tell that was, like, a rewrite, reshoot thing going on. It's like, holy
When
fuck,
they
we
get
didn't
out
end
of
the
the
movie.
Kessel Run, that should be the end of the movie. Kinda. Just with... Well, I don't understand with the long, extended, weird ending that they did, right?
They got the rebels, right? We're the rebellion. Okay, I get that. The super bad guy's dead. Okay, who replaces him? His girlfriend? Shit. Darth Maul's in the mix? Whoa.
Shit.
Where did Lando go? He gow. Oh, we gotta get the Millennium Falcon back, though. We got 10 minutes left. Last poker game.
Yeah, that
And
was good, though,
they
seeing
all
him go
wrapped it
back
up.
and get the Millennium Falcon. He steals the card off of...
But it was so quick.
Lando.
Such a wrap-up. Mentor
Oh, it
gone.
was. It definitely was. All right, Da Boo, let's leave something for him.
Nailed it.
Well, I might have probably more to say as to why I'm only giving it a 3 out of 5.
Why are you giving
But
it? Yeah.
you know what? My mind's all over the place with regards to this movie because I'm really having a hard time exactly knowing why I can't give it any more than a 3. It's simply because of maybe my lack of love for the character itself, maybe. But I mean, Han Solo was always an interesting character to me, but he was never really one of the characters. I guess I took it more. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. Yeah, clearly he's a main character in the story arcs, but what I loved about him was I think the kind of universe that he brought with him. He's not a Jedi. He's not. He doesn't believe in any religion. He's not. He doesn't work for anyone. He works for himself. You know, and better yet, he has this interesting relationship with a giant hairball
Yeah, cool.
called Chewie. But it
All sounds like good stuff to me.
It all makes for great storytelling. But this is because maybe I'm familiar with the original trilogy. Going into this movie, maybe my expectations were higher than I really took it for granted for. I was really hoping for something a lot grittier, and there were some gritty moments. But, you know, the beginning of the movie is maybe where it established it properly. And by the end of the film, we got to see the type of hero we expected him to be. I know most of it was going to be forecasted. We knew that going into this, but there was already an established history from the original series of movies. So there should be not too many surprises going into this. The Kessel Run, perfect example. We needed that. I needed to know, and not only that, how did he get his hands on the Millennium Falcon? Like, these are all things that I needed to see, not just, you know, oh, here's the keys. Have fun. No, he won them, you know, through a card game.
No, he
We
won it
knew of that
twice. Technically,
all
he
these
would have
years.
won twice, but Lando cheated the first time.
Yeah. So I'll leave 2 big things that really made me love this movie for different reasons. One was the establishment of the rebellion, because I didn't see that coming. That was one of those things where you got introduced to these marauders, you know, these characters that are scavengers and just fend for themselves and care for no one else but their own little, you know, band of people. So all the way throughout the whole movie, I'm taking them for, you know, nothing. They're little fluff on the side just to say that they're rivals to Solo while he's trying to get from point A to point B, right? But at the end of the film, we get to find out that they're the beginning blocks of what the rebellion stands for, which is, you know, they got hurt. They got the brunt end of the brunt end of the Empire. The Empire clearly was just sinking its teeth into everything around the universe. So we got to see that there was no rebellion yet. And Han, clearly what he's trying to do is trying to get away from all this before it gets even darker. But then we get a little glimpse of what the rebellion really is. It's just a ragtag team of survivors encouraging others around them to join the fight, because if they don't, then they're all fucked. It's just plain as daylight, you know, when you're the viewer seeing this from afar, right? So I love that. That was one thing I appreciated, because I knew that if I look back at the new movies, or the current ones, I should say, or the original series, as I really should be saying, that's what I needed to see. Another thing was the Kessel Run itself, because visually speaking, that was actually pretty impressive.
Very cool.
It could have been a pretty plain race when you really think of it, but they decided to not only throw them in some kind of a...
Well, of course, Han had to break the rules of the Kessel Run and do something different as well.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm trying to wrap my head around what it is that they were flying in. Was it a nebula? Like, what exactly is it? It's
So there
it's
was
a debris
planets
field, right?
being destroyed, and it was like a safe passage through there.
Well, there was a black hole. There was a singularity.
Yeah, there was also a
Right.
gravity hole
So
as well.
it's safe to say that the singularity is what caused the debris to be constantly orbiting around itself, which made for the Kessel Run, I guess.
You
the
could
Kessel Run
100%
is just
say
the safe passage through that debris.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
20 parsecs of safe passage.
If you follow the path
If
they
you follow
recommend.
the path.
Whereas they described it as he had cut through the debris
Yes.
and cut it to literally half that time. What was
Yeah.
it?
13.
13 and I think 12 if they round down, as he
Yeah.
said in the movie.
And that's even being stuck with that tentacle monster thingy there.
That was the other thing. I didn't expect that. I mean, aside from the fucking previews that ruined it for me. That would have been a nice surprise if they wouldn't have thrown that into the previews.
I actually was surprised when I saw that thing.
I was a little
really?
surprised, but you know what? This movie, the trailers did not do it justice.
No, it did not.
Going in, I thought the acting was going to be bad. I thought the story was going to be bad. And then I was...
It's actually, like I said, it's better than Rogue One, even though if you go back, I probably gave Rogue One a higher rating, but I'd give it a lower rating now because I actually like this movie better than that.
So, I mean, those are going to be two of my major, biggest things I loved about it. The basis of the rebellion and what they represented before we got to see them literally come to fruition with the symbol and everything, right? Actually, I think I even remember saying it aloud to the person next to me when I was seeing the movie. It was that they were drawing the symbol, and right away I'm thinking, oh, it's the rebellion. Wait, nope, got it wrong. But then I realized, oh, that's the next evolutionary step of what the rebellion logo then becomes later on. It's only a piece of the bigger puzzle, right?
I thought that was the Death Star that they were doing. Wasn't it 2 circles?
No, I was pretty sure.
No,
it was a
that
circle
was
with
the
cross.
red,
The Phoenix Rising?
that's what
Crimson
that's
Dawn?
what that is. But what they were doing
Oh.
was the symbol of Darth Maul's group, which was the
Okay.
red. What were they called?
Was it Crimson Dawn?
Yeah, Crimson Dawn.
Oh,
There you
so
go.
I'm getting that mixed up then. Okay,
So
well,
that has nothing to do with the rebellion.
Okay.
That's Darth Maul's group, right?
Yeah.
gotcha. But anyway, establishment of the rebellion was one, and again, the whole Kessel Run thing was perfect. Now, what had me hung up mostly was that I guess maybe when I really think of it, it was all the characters as a whole. Got some great characters out of it. Woody Harrelson's character Beckett was a lot of fun to watch.
he was good.
He was a little bit predictable, I might
He's
admit.
always
By
a
the
good
end of
actor,
the
though.
movie, I felt like it was a stereotype of a character. Like, actually, you guys pointed out he was the mentor, and at the end of the movie, the mentor dies. Oh, lo and behold, he dies.
Except in this case, it's a little bit different because
For the reasoning.
the hero kills the mentor this time.
Yeah.
But believe it or
Punch out
not,
first.
I foresaw that. I really did. I kind of felt like, oh, Beckett's clearly that kind of guy that you can't trust. He even
No.
said in a very foreshadowing line,
yeah,
don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
And he's got some gunslinging skills. Like,
And
right
that was-
off the bat, he's twirling guns. He's on top of the mountain, taking on armies by himself.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is this guy?
Probably my favorite part of his character was that he was a gunslinger, and I think those kinds of characters make for interesting,
That
It's
kind
a
of-
western in space.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. It brings it back to the space western feel.
Yeah, you're right. Now, when I look at all the characters, though, especially the female characters, because Kira, she was weaker than she should have been. I really expected her character to
Think
shine
so?
more. I felt like her character started to shine more so because she showed up about, midway throughout the film when Han finally runs back into her. And then she shows her true colors that she's not as
Right.
innocent as she was at the beginning of the movie where she was just following Solo out off the planet. That's what I got out of it. No, she was literally allied with the enemy.
Yeah.
And I
She
got
saw an
into-
opportunity
and ran
to
with
rise.
it. Yeah. She's just surviving like the rest of them are, right? While the Empire is, eating up everything around itself. That makes sense to me. But when you got a character like Kira who's showing her support for Han at the beginning, and then fell through at the end, and just, I guess mainly because she she didn't get through the gate like he did at the beginning, and then she got captured, and that forced her down a path that Han couldn't follow.
Yeah.
But what's stopping her from just flipping the switch and then just following Han then? Because I thought for sure that was the kind of character I expected from her, what we've seen at the beginning. Someone who was willing to just drop everything and just follow her love, But it wasn't
That's
that.
what you thought.
It turned out she had very little to no love for him, other than the
Twist.
fact that she just fell in love with the moment, and he was, I guess Han is very much one of those
She
free-
might still love him on
Yes.
some level, but number one is herself. She's trying to survive, and she's stuck under the thumb of this Crimson Dawn, and she can't really get out. She still has to survive and play within their limits.
Well,
Right.
she knew her boss was scared of somebody else. And if everybody is scared of Paul
Canadian
Bettany...
Geese, folks.
Yeah, if everyone's scared of Paul Bettany, then why is Paul Bettany scared of someone else? And now she works under that guy, so she might still be good, but she's doing something bad for good reasons to stay alive, or
Yeah,
maybe
she's treading a thin line, though. All I'm saying there.
well, she said he died from Beckett and all this other stuff to Darth
She
Maul.
lied, yeah.
She lied. She never said anything about Han Solo and Chewie. So
You're right, and I think that's where you're right. She might still have enough love for Han to say that she doesn't want to have him killed or hurt in any way. She just wants to be able to move on, I guess. And what Beckett's woman, we only saw her briefly enough to say, mainly to establish the reasoning why Beckett would allow Solo to follow him wholeheartedly. He barely trusted Han in the beginning, especially with Chewie. Chewie just happened to be a great asset to be with them, so clearly it was a thug for hire, so to speak. But both Kira and Beckett's woman, I forget her name, sorry, were great, well-written actors, or characters with great actors behind them, but unfortunately maybe didn't get enough screen time to establish the characters properly for me, so they felt weak. And Kira, she only became interesting at the end of the movie, but by then I didn't.
But
really
I think
care.
that's intentional because you're not supposed to realize that there's anything else behind Kira. Like you're supposed to just expect, oh, she's Han's love from the past, so she's clearly on his side. And then that's the twist at the end. Like, okay, suddenly she knows martial arts and she can kill
it's
this
not
guy.
a surprise
and it's
twist
like,
though,
You're right.
because Paul Bettany says she's not who you remember, and then even is it not Danny Glover?
you know someone's going to turn on him
Donald.
at the end.
Donald Glover even says, Kira, Kira, like, she's not who you think. And then even Beckett,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not the girl you
There
fell
was
in love with.
was foreshadowing for both Beckett and her,
Yes.
but it was kind of like, okay, I'm like, who's going to turn on him? Is it going to be her? Is it going to be him? Or is it going to be both of them? And then ends up being both.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized that I think one other scene that I must have enjoyed the most, though, out of all of it, was the rebellion of the robots. I thought that
Oh,
was funny.
yeah.
That was perfect. That
What
was
was that what was that droid's name?
L3.
L3, which is like a female droid this time.
Yeah. Who apparently thought
That Lando was in love with
her.
which after seeing the part where she gets shot and
he
it's the
cries.
way it's very possible he did love her.
Yeah.
Maybe
Not
he's
too
into
sure.
that kind of thing. Who
Hey,
knows?
it's the future.
Yeah,
or
you
the
never
past.
know.
I don't
Yeah.
know where this is.
And so that particular droid found it. Found a way to liberate other droids because that's what she was all about, the liberation of her people, droids, because servants to flesh bags.
And before I do forget this, I wasn't expecting to see Willow again.
Yes,
in this.
Warwick Davis. That's what I wanted to mention. He actually has a line in this movie too.
Yeah, he actually does say something.
He's got a line that's not yep.
Not to mention, because how many movies in Star Wars has he been in?
Yeah,
now?
he
'Cause
was in
a lot.
Rogue One,
He was definitely in Rogue One.
and he's obviously Wicket.
Oh, that's right. Rogue One. He was that little creature that
can't-
was in the middle of the square
Fact check.
doing the rebellion. They were attacking the ATS.
I'll let you know in a second
I
what
don't
his name
know.
was.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. It was such a side character that I
I really like that little character though.
oh yeah, for sure.
So the name of that character is Weetooth QB?
Or Weeteef.
Weetooth QB? Something like that. Anyway, so that's who Warwick Davis played in Rogue One.
Going back to Darth Maul, his lightsaber.
It's different.
It wasn't a normal lightsaber. Now,
Yeah.
if you guys watch Clone Wars and or Rebels, which is canon, because he's got the robot legs. That's how they brought him back. And the guy who voiced Darth Maul is the guy who voiced Darth Maul in the cartoon.
Really, eh?
Oh my god, so much nerdgasm going on here. But anyways, he had an Inquisitor sword.
Okay.
So if they introduce the Inquisitors, which are like force-sensitive people
Yes.
that aren't taught all the ways of the Sith, just on how to manipulate the Force, and that's it.
Cool.
This is the kill squad for Darth Vader. If they introduce that, I don't even know. Like, if the next movie they have a bunch of Inquisitors going after Han Solo and crew, oh my god. I don't even know what to tell you guys, man. I need that in my life. Take my money now.
The thing is, I'm not excited for Episode 9, but I'm excited for Solo too.
Oh, same here. They ruin so much stuff, like the parentage of Rey.
Oh,
I don't
my
care
Lord.
about Finn and Rose.
All the story beats they had set up in
Poe's
the
a
first
dick.
movie.
Yeah, Luke's
in the first
gone.
movie, they just
It's like,
freaking
oh.
get rid of. Well, Luke could be a Jedi ghost in the last one.
Yeah, I don't even care. I'm
Hey,
more
Jedi
interested
ghosts
in
can
this.
summon lightning, apparently.
Who
so.
gives a shit? He'll make glass in the desert. What a power. But I'm more interested in seeing where this goes.
Yeah, me too, actually. Kind of interested to see what happens with the solo series. Stolo,
baby.
Stolo!
Well, let me ask you guys this. If you had to pick another spin-off movie that you would want to see out of the Star
good
Wars
question.
franchise, what would you like to see? Because you guys are definitely the bigger Star Wars fans than me, but
What was the question, sorry?
like which spin-off movie would you like to
Oh.
see made
I think
within
the easy
realm of Star Wars?
answer would be Ben Kenobi, but I would actually like to see prior to that. I'd like to see like the creation of the Jedi Council and all of that, and maybe tie in Darth Plagueis into that story or something. I think that'd be cool.
Go back to the origins of
yeah,
the Jedi and the Sith.
that's what I want to see.
Knights of the Old Republic style?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going for? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
What about you, Miles?
Now that they have an Inquisitor sword, which means they have Inquisitors, which means Darth Vader is a kill squad, I kind of want to see a
Solo
movie.
2.
Not Solo 2. Well, I do want to see Solo 2. Like, I'm in it. Like, this movie sold me. But what would be cool for me is if they had... Because they introduced Force-sensitive people that aren't part of Luke Skywalker's family in The Last Jedi. So, that was some good that came out of the movie. If they have something... And this was a Rebels storyline where they had to protect Force-sensitive people because Darth Vader wanted to kill everybody that was Force-sensitive because he didn't know which side they're going to go for, and he wanted balance in the Force, so he wanted to be the only one that can use the Force or whatever. If he sent a kill squad out to kill these Force-sensitive people, and he had some rogue Jedi protecting everybody, that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
I would like to see that.
That sounds like a good movie.
Sounds like it'd be pretty cool.
All right, what are you thinking?
See, I always... You know what I said about how I was hoping for more of a grittiness out of the Solo movie?
Yeah.
And I'm talking like full grit. I want to see like...
You're going to say Boba Fett, aren't you?
Well, it would have been either him or it would have been someone outside of the universe that is not a smuggler, that is not a hero for one thing, and does not have a side to pick. Like, it's great that you point out, Miles, about the whole Force-sensitive people, because they're kind of like that in-between area there where they're not good people, they're not bad people, but they could go either way. It's up to them to decide, right? Boba Fett strikes me as that kind of character. He's just a gun for hire. He's a mercenary. And mercenaries have some pretty interesting stories to tell, if you ask me. Like, they go just about anywhere in the universe and probably get to see things that the average hero or villain would never see. I honestly think that would make for a completely different type of Star Wars story that I think this kind of universe needs. So that's the only reason why I asked that, because there's a lot of other characters that could have done the same.
Oh, yeah. You could do this you could do a spin-off movie anyway. Like, I think Obi-Wan and Boba Fett are probably the forerunners for having movies made for them. Although I've been hearing some hype about Lando too, but who knows?
I am not interested
I don't
in
really
Lando's
care.
crap.
Like, after I seen that, I'm like, okay, he's good as a character in Han Solo's story.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him in anything else because
I don't
think
either.
there's much else to see, to be quite honest. It would be much more interesting to see a Boba Fett story or a Kenobi story, or the ones we recommended actually sound pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'd be totally cool with that. Even the Boba Fett thing, because I keep going back to the cartoon, but I feel like if they're pulling from the cartoons now, maybe we can see this. When Boba Fett watched Jango Fett die, and he went on this mission to just kill
Jedi.
people. Yeah, kill Jedi, essentially. But he also tangled with a bunch of other young bounty hunters, like Bosk, which was a name drop in this movie.
Yeah, you're right.
So they could be plugging into that maybe in this, because they said they're going to Tatooine.
I would just
the
like to see
Jpar.
like a League of Bounty Hunters in the next one. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool. There's another storyline. Like, it could be Han Solo trying to complete a mission before these bounty hunters or something.
I think... Yeah. Never mind.
Okay.
Great comment.
Yeah.
I had an
You still
idea
got
and
it.
then it went away. Alright, so final thoughts.
Go see Solo. YOLO.
I'm not saying that. I will say this. It is a movie you do need to see in theaters. It is an effects movie nonetheless. If you don't give it that much credit at least, you probably shouldn't watch it, period. It is a great theatrical movie, though. You do need to see it in theaters.
Oh, yeah, it's action. Like, start to finish. It's got great action, whether it's on the ground or in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you should go check this out in theaters, especially if you consider yourself any kind of a Star Wars fan. Even if Last Jedi left a bad taste in your mouth and you're a fan of that original trilogy, I think this movie has enough in it to bring you back and make you feel like you're at home again, because it did for me. And if maybe you like the way these new movies are going and Last Jedi is going. Last franchise.
The last franchise.
The last franchise ever, if we destroy everything with The Last Jedi. Maybe you like the way Last Jedi is going, and so maybe you're not going to like the throwback of what this movie has to offer. But I think it's definitely more geared towards people who are fans of the original trilogy.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. So, Star Wars fan, especially if you're an original trilogy fan, go see this movie in the theater. It needs your support. We should keep supporting Star Wars movies.
I love how we keep saying that. It needs your support.
Well, Star Wars doesn't need anyone's support, but I'm just saying, if we don't support this movie in particular, then you won't see a Solo 2, and I'd much rather see more of this kind of Star Wars movie than a Last Jedi kind of movie.
I know, I wish the money could be reversed. Last Jedi got what this movie got, and this movie got what Last Jedi got.
This movie is being punished for what Last Jedi did.
It's 100%, and I feel like other industries knew that. They moved Deadpool up almost a month ahead of schedule because of all the shit they heard was happening on the Han Solo.
Fox was being cheeky, and they're like...
Oh, and it paid off.
Yeah.
Deadpool is just killing it. Everyone's going back to see it again, and then no one wants to go see Solo because it came out after everything. Ugh. Yeah. It's the perfect storm against this movie is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It had an uphill
But
battle.
it doesn't deserve it, honestly.
No, it doesn't. And I hope that after this weekend, now that we watched it and we gave it a good review, I hope that it does well at the box office.
I hope so,
It
too.
deserves it.
I hope more people give it good reviews and people give Star Wars a second chance. I mean, just because they give us one really bad movie doesn't mean you can turn your back on them.
That's right. Be a good friend.
Yeah, exactly. Be a good Jedi. Be a good Padawan, if you will.
Oh, God.
Be a good smuggler.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Where are we going?
I don't know.
Where is the trail going?
Stop hugging me.
Stop. I'm sorry. It was a Wookiee hug. It's okay, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can keep your arms.
I'm a big Wookiee, though.
You're the big Wookiee.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the Miles High Club doing there, big Wookiee?
Oh, if it was any better, it would
It'd
be in the fucking...
Wooktacular.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Let's end it.
Okay, so you can follow the conversation on Twitter at We Promise Nothing. Drop the G, give us a big old like on Facebook. We like when you do that. And you can check us out on Eastlink. Of course, we are on late night tickets. You can catch us on demand. And if we're not on demand, then definitely request us in your area. And definitely subscribe to this channel and give us a comment below. Give us a big old thumbs up saying you like this video. And I think I covered all my bases.
Yeah, come say hi June 9th.
June 9th,
Sabrina.
Graphicon. We're going to be talking about the MCU, and we can't wait to see you all live. We love our fans, and we love to see you all there. June 9th, Graphicon, Sudbury Arena. So pumped! So, yeah. If you disagree with anything we said in this review, you could leave a comment below. But Miles, as always, we promise nothing. Good night.
Oh, good one.
That's Wookiee for we love you.